Good day, everybody. I welcome you all to this episode of Philosophy Lectures with A Prof. Tunde Akande. In today's episode, we shall be treating the topic titled The Error of Relativism, Part 2. Recall that we had earlier discussed the error of relativism. So in this part, we are simply rendering the same topic or the same discussion in another way. That is why we call it Part 2. So, the error of relativism. Relativism, in its various forms, has become one of the most influential ideas in contemporary thought. It is appealing and even seductive. This is so because in a diverse world filled with competing cultures, values, and perspectives, relativism offers a promise of peace, tolerance, and coexistence. It tells us that truth is not absolute, that morality is not universal, and that knowledge is shaped by context. Everyone, so it claims, is entitled to his or her own truth. But is this really so? Can truth be relative? Can morality be entirely subjective? And what are the consequences if we accept that all perspectives are equally valid? In this lecture, I'm going to present a general critique of relativism. I will explain what it is, why it appeals to many, and why ultimately it fails as a coherent philosophical position. Relativism takes many forms. You have moral relativism, which holds that what is right or wrong depends on cultural norms or individual preferences. You have epistemic relativism, which argues that knowledge is contingent on specific social and historical contexts. And then you have cultural relativism, which teaches that we cannot judge other cultures by our own standard or by the standards of our own, Okay? What unites all these views is a rejection of universality. And in each case, relativism denies that there are objective truths that apply across all times, cultures, and individuals. Instead, it posits that truth is created or constructed within a particular framework. Now, the appeal of relativism. Relativism thrives in a pluralistic society. Confronted with the horrors committed in the name of absolute truth, such as colonialism, dogmatism, religious wars, relativism seems like a path towards humility and respect. It claims to make space for the other, for difference, and for the marginalized. In education, it is often promoted as intellectual openness and intellectual humility. In ethics, it aligns with tolerance. In politics, it appears democratic, that is, promoting the claim that all voices matter, that all views are equal. And this is what makes it appealing to so many. But this widespread appeal masks serious philosophical weaknesses. In other words, behind this widespread appeal hides hide some serious philosophical weaknesses. These weaknesses include the following. Number one, the internal contradiction of relativism. The most fundamental problem with relativism is that it is self-refuting. That is, it is self-contradicting. Consider the claim, for example, all truths are relative. Is this statement itself a relative truth? If so, then we have no reason to accept it because it might not be true for others. And if the statement is absolutely true, then it contradicts its own claim. Relativism, in asserting that there are no absolutes, ends up making an absolute claim. Therefore, it collapses under its own logic. And this is not merely a clever philosophical trick. It exposes a deep incoherence at the heart of the relativist worldview. Now, what are the consequences of accepting relativism? Beyond logic, relativism has serious practical consequences. In morality, for example, it leads to moral paralysis. Because if every culture's practices are equally valid, then we lose the ability to criticize even the most egregious injustices, such as genocide, slavery, oppression, and what have you. In science, it undermines the pursuit of objective knowledge. Because if empirical truth is just a narrative among others, then what distinguishes science from superstition? In law and politics, it risks replacing reasoned debate with the tyranny of feelings. If truth is whatever I believe it to be, then dialogue becomes impossible and disagreement turns into conflict. Relativism was meant to foster tolerance, but in practice, it often leads to fragmentation, confusion, and a loss of shared meaning. So, what is the alternative? The alternative is not an authoritarian dogmatism, but a renewed commitment to objective truth, a belief that some things can be right or wrong, true or false, regardless of who believes them. Philosophers from Plato to Immanuel Kant have defended this position. Plato argued that justice is not a matter of opinion, but a reflection of a deeper reality. Kant, in his categorical imperative, proposed moral laws that apply to all rational beings. Objective truth does not mean infallibility. It does not mean that we know everything, but it means that truth exists independently of our perspectives, and that we can, through reason, debate, and evidence, seek to discover it. In conclusion, relativism presents itself as humility, but it often conceals a deeper cynicism, that is, the belief that truth is unreachable, that nothing ultimately matters. But truth matters, justice matters, and meaning matters. To defend objectivity is not to be arrogant, but to believe in the possibility of shared understanding. In a world that desperately needs reasoned conversation and moral clarity, we must reject the error of relativism and return to the pursuit of objective truth. Thank you for watching. If you like what you have heard, like what you have watched, I want to encourage you to like and share this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification icon so that you can always get notified each time I upload a new video. Till I come your way again in the next lecture, bye for now and have a lovely day.